Before we go into the attitudes that make anyone who lost you feel the weight of regret, too late, I want to ask you for something very important. Subscribe to the channel right now, leave a like, and activate notifications. This kind of content deepens your awareness, strengthens your spirit, and helps you see your own value with clarity. And when you subscribe, you allow this message to reach even more people who need this kind of strength. There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than any explanation. When someone loses you, they expect you to beg, to justify yourself, to fall apart. But when you stand up, grow, mature, and choose yourself, something powerful happens. The one who lost you realizes they underestimated the wrong person. Regret isn't born when you try to prove your worth. It's born when you finally understand you don't have to prove anything anymore. Stoicism teaches us that true victory isn't about making someone miss you, but about reclaiming yourself. And when that inner reclamation begins to bloom, your energy changes, your posture changes, your presence changes. You become someone who no longer lives to please. You live to evolve, and this movement, almost always silent, triggers something deep within the heart of the one who let you go, a late consciousness of their own mistake. And before we continue, take a small pause. Comment now. I choose my worth. This gesture activates the algorithm, but above all, it activates inside you the most important decision of this new phase of your life. Today, you will walk through 6 blocks of emotional and psychological transformation. Each one contains a powerful attitude, not to hurt, but to free you. Because when you free yourself, the one who lost you becomes trapped in their own regret. These attitudes are not tricks, not manipulations. They are deep movements of awareness, strength, and maturity that make anyone realize what they let slip away. Get ready. What you are about to hear is not a script to bring someone back. It is a script to bring you back. And when you return to yourself, when you rediscover who you are, when your inner light turns on again, the one who lost you finally sees everything they didn't see when they still had a chance. Silence is one of the most powerful attitudes when someone loses you, not because it hurts, but because it reveals. It exposes everything that was once hidden behind words, explanations, and attempts to be understood. When you choose silence, you remove yourself from a dynamic that wasn't good for you, and suddenly, the other person realizes that the absence of your voice weighs more than they ever imagined. In that silence, they begin to hear something they always ignored, their own conscience. Silence also breaks expectations. The one who lost you believed you would react, that you would seek answers, insist on being heard. But when silence becomes your answer, the impact is profound, because what they expected was fragility, and what you deliver is strength. Silence shows that you are no longer trying to justify anything. You are moving on. You are breathing. You are rebuilding yourself far from the emotional chaos that didn't feed your soul. And this is where regret begins to grow. Another power of silence is that it returns your energy to you. Everything you once spent explaining, trying to be noticed, trying to show your worth, now turns into fuel for your expansion. While you grow in silence, the other person feels the weight of the distance. They realize their words no longer reach your heart. Their behavior no longer destabilizes you. Their presence no longer defines who you are. And this hurts deeply in someone who believed they had emotional control over you. This silence isn't empty. It is full of inner movement, full of healing, full of reorganization, full of insights that only appear when you step away from noise. And the one who lost you did not expect this kind of evolution. They did not expect you to find peace within your own silence. They did not expect you to grow exactly where they thought you would fall. And it is this surprise, this break in the narrative, that awakens late consciousness. And as agreed, comment now. I choose the silence that strengthens me. Besides helping the video reach more people, this reaffirms your internal decision to protect and value yourself. Silence makes you inaccessible to the dramas that once drained you. It creates a healthy emotional distance, a barrier that protects your heart and prevents relapses. And the one who lost you notices it because they realize they can no longer reach you as easily as before. What once was guaranteed is now unreachable. And this sensation of definitive loss is the first step toward true regret. This silent movement also places you in a higher emotional place. You are not competing, not begging, not justifying. You are growing. And this silent growth creates a massive contrast. While you rise, the other remains stuck in the same emotional pattern. And when they look at you from afar, stronger, calmer, more mature, regret becomes inevitable. Finally, silence shows you are no longer emotionally available like before. It announces without words that you chose yourself, that you are walking toward your own peace. And when you choose yourself, the one who lost you finally understands what they truly lost. Someone who had the capacity to love deeply, and at the same time, the courage to leave when not valued. Rebuilding yourself in silence is one of the most impactful attitudes someone can take after being underestimated or left behind. Because, contrary to what many think, you don't need to announce your evolution. You simply live it. And when this reconstruction begins, the one who lost you watches from a distance, almost unintentionally, and realizes something they never imagined. You weren't destroyed. You bloomed, and nothing hurts more than seeing someone's life rise again while yours remains the same. Silent reconstruction breaks old expectations. The one who lost you believed you would remain trapped in the past, trying to understand what happened, carrying pain longer than you should. They imagined your fall would be deep, but when they see you standing up, keeping busy, strengthening yourself, rebuilding your self-esteem and peace, something inside them cracks, because deep down they depended on your fragility, and what you show is your strength. This kind of reconstruction is not impulsive, it is deep. It is when you begin to reclaim parts of yourself that were forgotten while you tried to be enough for someone who didn't value you. You return to taking care of yourself. You return to feeding your dreams. You return to organizing your life. You return to smiling on your own. And this change bothers the one who lost you because it shows that their presence was not the source of your stability. The source was always you. And now that is clear. Rebuilding yourself in silence is like being reborn without noise. You grow into a new version of yourself, more mature, lighter, more aware. And this new version begins to illuminate the environment around you. New people approach, opportunities arise, doors open, and the one who lost you realizes they are stuck in a chapter you have already overcome. This difference in rhythm, you moving forward, the other frozen, awakens the first real form of regret. And as agreed, comment now, I am rebuilding myself. This gesture not only boosts the video, but declares your internal decision to move forward. Silent reconstruction also painfully reveals to the other person that you no longer depend on them emotionally. They realize your world did not end, your life did not collapse, and you did not remain stuck in a story that no longer nourished your soul. This understanding that you are leaving emotionally is often more painful than any physical distance. Another impact of this attitude is that it reveals who you always were. Someone strong, resilient, capable of rising even when everything seemed lost. And realizing this too late is a harsh blow for someone who failed to value you. Because while you grow, they begin to question their own behavior, the decisions they made, the words they said or never said, and no one likes to face their own guilt. Finally, rebuilding yourself in silence is a form of spiritual maturity. You are not seeking revenge, not trying to prove anything, not seeking recognition. You simply live. But this simplicity is devastating to the one who lost you because it shows your life is working without them. And this conclusion, even if never spoken aloud, creates a silent, deep, and impossible to ignore regret. There is a type of strength that completely changes the way others see you, the moment you finally stop proving your worth. As long as you try to be enough for someone, you give away part of your energy to their validation. But when you decide you no longer have anything to prove, something inside you is freed, and something inside the one who lost you breaks. Because they depended precisely on your constant effort, your attempts to hold everything together, your attempts to show who you are. And when that stops, regret begins. Stopping the need to prove your worth dismantles a dynamic that used to be comfortable for the other. They believed they controlled the narrative. They believed you were predictable, that you would always seek to be understood, accepted, or recognized. But when you simply stop, when you breathe and say silently, "I don't need this," the game changes. You take emotional power away from someone who didn't know how to hold it, and that creates a deep impact. This attitude is extremely Stoic because it returns the focus to where it always should have been, on you. The value you carry is not in someone's gaze, it is in your consciousness, your character, your essence. When you realize this, your posture changes. You no longer react the same way. You no longer explain yourself the same way. You no longer fight for the same things. And this new posture becomes a mirror that forces the one who lost you to face their own mistake, because now they see your strength more clearly than ever. Many times, the one who lost you only recognizes your worth when you stop trying to prove it. Because while you were trying, they became comfortable. They normalized your dedication, your loyalty, your intensity. But when you stop trying, the silence left behind reveals the size of the void. It's as if they finally see what they ignored for so long, and this late realization is deeply painful. And as we agreed, comment now. I don't need to prove anything. This comment is not just a CTA. It is an emotional, spiritual, and mental declaration of independence. Stopping the need to prove your worth also gives power back to you, because emotional power does not come from convincing, it comes from deciding. And you have decided that you will no longer waste energy trying to be seen by eyes that cannot see. This decision is one of the most liberating that exists, and it creates a type of strength the other cannot ignore. They realize they lost someone who finally understood their own greatness. Moreover, when you stop trying to prove who you are, you become more authentic. Your life begins to flow more lightly because you are no longer living to meet someone else's expectations. You reclaim your essence, your dreams, your priorities, and this authenticity makes you shine in a way you never did before. And the one who lost you, seeing this shine, feels the absence of what could have been. Finally, this attitude creates immense clarity. You're not interested in convincing anyone of your worth. Whoever wants to see it will. Whoever didn't, lost. And this clarity, this deep conviction, is exactly the type of maturity that awakens real regret in the other. Because they realize they didn't lose an ordinary person. They lost someone who became aware of themselves. There is something deeply transformative about evolving without looking back. When you decide to focus on your future, your healing, your maturity, and your growth, you break free from the emotional dependence that once held you. The one who lost you believed you would remain tied to memories, hopes, and old expectations. But when they realize you are evolving toward a bigger, fuller, more conscious life, the impact is inevitable. Late regret is born. Evolving without looking back means you finally understood that your destiny is not in anyone's hands, that your happiness does not depend on someone's validation, that your greatness does not have to bend before someone who failed to see it. This evolution is an internal, silent, and spiritual process that completely changes your posture. And the one who lost you feels this shift from afar, noticing that you are walking on a path where they no longer have permission to enter. This attitude also completely dismantles the narrative they had about you. Perhaps they believed you wouldn't know how to move on alone. Perhaps they imagined that without them, your life would lose its shine. But when they see you growing, strengthening yourself, building new paths and living new phases, they are forced to face a truth they never wanted to admit. You were the light of that relationship. You were the strength. You were the maturity. And now all that light continues to shine, but far away from them. And before we continue, as agreed, comment now, "I choose to evolve." This strengthens your internal decision and helps the video reach others who need awakening. Evolving without looking back is also an act of self-love. It means you stopped seeking answers that would change nothing and started creating a life that truly nourishes you. You begin to invest in your body, your mind, your spirituality, your projects, your healthy relationships. Every step you take away from the past shows your energy returning to you. And this is painful for the one who lost you because it reveals they didn't just leave your life, they left your story. This evolution creates an inevitable contrast. While you rise, the other remains still. While you organize your life, they try to understand the moment they lost you. While you expand, they revisit old memories, trying to find the point where everything shifted. And realizing that you are rising without looking back is a deep blow, because no heart is ready to watch someone bloom in the exact place where they expected you to fall. Evolving in this way also awakens a silent fear in the one who lost you. The fear that you might find someone who values you the way they should have. The fear that your new phase might open doors that make any return impossible. The fear that you will finally live everything you always deserved, and that they never managed to offer. This fear, added to regret, creates a weight that does not disappear easily. Finally, evolving without looking back is the ultimate proof that you have taken ownership of your own life. You are not trying to erase the past, you are simply deciding that the past no longer deserves to lead your steps. And when this decision manifests in your actions, in your eyes and in your posture, the one who lost you understands, too late, that they didn't lose just anyone. They lost someone who finally discovered who they are. In the end, there is a truth that time always reveals. When you rise, the one who lost you becomes small. Not because you want that, but because life shows with painful clarity the value of people when they are no longer within reach. The attitudes you saw here are not strategies to hurt or provoke. They are paths to bring you back to yourself, because it is exactly in that return, in that reunion with your own essence, that the other person's regret is born, silent, and inevitable. You now understand that it is not the other person's regret that transforms your life. It is your evolution. It is your silence that heals. It is your reconstruction that surprises. It is your decision to stop proving your worth. It is your strength to evolve without looking back. It is your ability to bloom in peace. When you choose yourself, the entire universe shifts around you. And the one who lost you for the first time sees clearly what they once had in their hands and failed to cherish. The one who lost you doesn't miss the person you were. They miss the person you became without them. They miss the calm you found, the peace you built, the maturity that bloomed. They miss everything that only came alive in you after they were gone. That is the deepest regret. It is not about who you were, it is about who you became. But the most powerful truth is this: you do not need their regret to move on. You do not need their return. You do not need their awareness. Because your healing does not depend on anyone but you. And before we close, I invite you with strength. Comment now, "I choose my path." This seals your emotional process and helps this video reach more people who need transformation. Take a deep breath. Lift your head. Walk with confidence. From today on, whoever lost you belongs to a closed chapter, but you belong to a story that is still being written, and in it, you are the protagonist, not the consequence.